Hey, it's time to read some more of The Ice Monster by David Walliams. And let's find out what happens next. Do they get to the North Pole or do they encounter more problems? Let's find out. Ships ahoy, chapter 60. Ships ahoy, came the cry one morning from the crow's nest on the Victory. All the old soldiers scrambled to the stern of the ship, where they jostled, eager to glimpse what their comrade at the top of the mast had seen. The sound of footsteps had woken up Elsie and Willie too, and they joined the line of pensioners. The Admiral took out his telescope. A fleet of metal steamships stretched out across the horizon. "Oh, how many, Admiral?" asked Titch. "A dozen, I would say." "Can we outrun them?" "Well, we can darn well try." "Hurrah!" shouted the men. "Who?" joined in Willie. The Admiral called out his orders to make this old ship go as fast as she possibly could. HMS Victory felt as if it were taking flight as it soared across the sea. Yet even at full speed, it was no match for modern steamships. "They're gaining on us," yelled Elsie. "We're going full speed," replied the Admiral. "Prepare the cannons." "With respect, sir," piped up Titch. "We can't fire on our fellow countrymen." No, you've got a point there," mused the Admiral. "Would be hanged as traitors." "There must be something we can do," exclaimed Elsie. "How many barrels of gunpowder do we have?" Dotty counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 3, 7, 6. A lot. Counting was not her strong suit. "Oh, a lot. Thank you, Dotty. I can count a dozen barrels. What if we rolled them out to sea?" "That is the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard, child." "What a jolly waste of good gunpowder," replied the Admiral. "I haven't finished yet." "Oh," cooed the pensioners. "Well, we'll have no one on my ship," thundered the Admiral. "Do you understand me? Once you let the sailors go ooh at one another, heaven knows where that will lead." The old men nodded, still smirking at their naughtiness. "Ooh," cooed out Willie. "And let's have your cheek, please," said the Admiral to the Mammoth. "What I was going to say," continued Elsie, "is we should roll the barrels out one by one and wait until the ship closes in. Then whoever's best at taking shots with one of those muskets shoots them." "Shooting your own gunpowder?" thundered the Admiral. "I've never heard such poppycock." "With respect, sir," began Titch timidly, "I think the girl's onto something. It will create a smoke screen." "A smoke screen?" spluttered the Admiral. "Yes, and we'll have a chance of losing the ships." "Right, men and ladies, well, change tack," boomed the old sailor. "When I give the order now, I want you to roll a barrel into the sea, Titch." "Yes, Admiral." "And you know your way around a musket?" The thing is," he hesitated, and the man was really nervous. Only having one medal, which was for service, the one all soldiers received, he had never thought of himself as a hero. The last thing Titch wanted to do was let everyone down. "Open fire." "Good," replied the Admiral. As usual, he hadn't been listening. "Titch, when I give you the order, I want you to open fire on a barrel." Poor Titch was shaking with nerves. It was clear he did not want to be put under this pressure. One by one the barrels were rolled into the sea. Roll, plop, roll, plop, roll, plop. Soon there were a dozen barrels of gunpowder bobbing around in the water as the British naval fleet approached. "Titch, are you ready?" asked the Admiral. The poor private was struggling. He was struggling to aim, and he was struggling to ram the gunpowder down the unique musket, or the antique musket. "One moment, sir." Dotty tried to help by passing him the shot. "I can do it," he snapped. "Titch," called out the Admiral. "Ready, sir." Titch raised the musket. "Fire!" And the private took a deep breath. This was his moment to prove them all wrong, to prove that he could be a hero after all. Trembling, he did something he'd never done before in all his years as a soldier. He pulled a trigger. Click. Nothing happened. Sorry, sir, I'm only half cocked. Fire! Bang! The force of the blast blew Titch off his aim, and instead of the shot firing across the water to the sea barrel, it skimmed over Woolly's head, parting her fur. Ooh! Before blasting a very hot big hole in the side of the HMS Victory's sails. You ruddy fool, raged the Admiral. I'll have you court-martialed for this. I'm useless, said Titch, bowing his head in defeat. Give that musket to me, Private, ordered the Admiral. Let him have another go, pleaded Dotty. Are we at the fun fair? Asked the Brigadier. I had me chance and I blew it, Titch wailed in despair. No, Titch, piped up Elsie. You can do it. I know you can. She turned to the Admiral. Please. The Admiral had a soft spot for the girl. All right, then, he huffed, but there are a dozen barrels and only a dozen cartridges. If he fails, that's it. No pressure, my love, added Dotty, somewhat unhelpfully. The Admiral let out a long sigh. Fire at will, Private! And Titch loaded the musket and aimed, and he took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and fired. Bang! And the shot skimmed across the sea. Kaboom! And the barrel of gunpowder exploded. A thick cloud of black appeared. Hurrah! Shouted the old soldiers on the deck of the HMS Victory. Hoo! Hooted the Mammoth. You did it, Titch, yelled Elsie. My hero, added Dotty. 1 down, 11 to go, said Titch. Fire! Ordered the Admiral. Kaboom! And another. Kaboom! Another. Kaboom! 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 3 in a row. Bullseye. Kaboom! Kaboom! Yes! Kaboom! On a roll now. Kaboom! Easy. Kaboom! Final one. Kaboom! And against all odds, Titch had hit every single barrel, and there was a huge curtain of black smoke. Hurrah! Shouted the soldiers. Who? Added Wally. Silence, ordered the Admiral. Now let's listen for their ships. Everyone on board fell silent. Far off they could hear the sounds of horns hooting and engines grinding. Kerrang! There was even the sound of metal hitting metal as the ships collided. Bash! Bang! Wallop! Oops, said the Admiral. We got them, exclaimed Dotty. Ooh, shouted Woolly, punching her trunk in the air in triumph. They're the British Naval Fleet, began the Admiral. Best in the world. They're down, but they're not out. The smoke will lift soon. We must act fast. We need to change course if we're going to lose them. Starboard-o! All on board went to work on the ship to make the ship dramatically change course into the right, even though the Mammoth was getting a hang of sailing now. Using her trunk, she grabbed hold of the wheel, spinning it hard to the right, and the ship leaned the other way so fast that the old soldiers tumbled over, and Woolly fell on top of the Admiral. Ooh! Dump! Oof! Cried the Admiral. Get this giant fur ball off me! Elsie smirked as she and all the available deckhands prized the Mammoth off their leader. Thank goodness I'm not planning on having any more children, muttered the Admiral as he clambered on his foot. He limped over to the stern of the ship. Oof, oof, oof. Next, he took out his telescope and studied the sea behind them. The curtain of smoke was slowly lifting. Elsie sidled up to him and Woolly followed, and the Mammoth was intrigued. She plucked the telescope out of his hands with her trunk. Swipe! Get off that, he snapped before snatching it back. And then he turned to Elsie. Please try and control your pet mammoth. Oh, I will, sir, she replied with a grin. I can't see any ships, he said. I think we've done it. My goodness, we have done it. And just then, Elsie spotted a shape poking out of the curtain of smoke. There, she shouted. The admiral put the telescope back to his eye. Oh, blast! One of them has got through. We can't give up, Admiral, said the girl. Never. Now listen up, men and woman, and of course, girl, and began the admiral. Ooh, added Willie, not wanting to be left out. Oh, yes, apologies, replied the admiral, rolling his eyes. And listen up, Mammoth. On one of the ships, it's got through. Oh, no, came a chorus of replies. We have to prepare for the worst. In less than an hour, they will have reached us. We must be ready to be boarded. Men and women, of course, and girl and who, Willie reminded him. And then, who can forget Mammoth? We have no more shot. The gunpowder is gone. You must arm yourself whatever you can lay your hands on. Yes, sir, came the reply of chorus of replies. Good luck, men, and everyone else not contained in that umbrella term. Immediately, the deck of the HMS Victory was a hive of activity, as all on board were about arming themselves. There weren't enough cutlasses to go around, so most of the soldiers picked up brooms and mops. Surely but slowly, the British naval ship that was still pursuing them came into focus. She was the mighty HMS Argonaut, with 4 huge funnels pumping smoke from its coal engine. The Argonaut was powering through the waves right towards the Victory. With their makeshift weapons in their hands, the old soldiers were ready for the worst. The admiral approached Elsie. You are but a child. I think it is best for you to go alone. Are you kidding? Replied the girl, reaching out for the long wooden sail baton. I would not miss this for the world. Oh, we'll make a sailor of you yet, said the admiral. He took off his wooden leg and brandished it, ready to do battle. Forgetting he couldn't stand up on his one leg, he wobbled for a moment before hitting the deck. Thump. Surrender. Surrender, boomed a voice over the loud hailer from the HMS Argonaut as it drew up alongside Victory. Never, came a shout of voices from the Victory. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. We said never. Did you say never? Yes. Oh, sorry, it's hard to hear. You don't have a loud hailer you could use, do you? No. What was that? We said no. That's a shame. We know. Sorry about what was that? We said we know. Thank you. Now our orders are to return the ice monster to London. It is the property of Her Majesty the Queen. All the soldiers looked at Elsie and she told them, Willie is not the property of anybody. Oh no, it's not, began the chorus from the Victory. Oh yes it is, came the voices back. Oh no, it's not. Oh yes it is. Are we at the pantomime? Asked the Brigadier. If you return the creature to us, then there is no need for us to open fire. Do you surrender? No. But I'm pretty sure that was a no. Yes? Sorry, yes, that was a no. Or yes, because it was a yes. It was a no. Thank you. Our pleasure. Thank you. Not at all. Then prepare for battle. Cool, that took 'em long enough, muttered Dotty. HMS Argonaut inched closer to the HMS Victory, and the young sailors looked at all the old sailors. The two groups nodded at each other politely, and then they said, we were all British after all. And finally the captain of the HMS Argonaut gave the order, attack. And then we're going to leave it there. We're up to chapter 64, and the next chapter is called A Pool of Blood. I hope you've really enjoyed this reading of a few chapters of The Ice Monster by David Walliams and illustrated by Tony Ross. Till next time, see ya. Have a great night, and thank you for listening to Granny's Storytime. If you love what you're hearing, please press the subscribe button or like button, and also please tell your friends about it. I've got 45 subscribers now. I'm looking for 100 by the end of the year, so I need your help. So please help me. Thanks. Bye.